how large the set of compasses should be in dealing with others. That's the universal symbol of Freemasonry. Of course, central to that, in many places, you will find the letter G. And the letter G representing the great geometer, the grand architect of the universe. That is, that supreme being, supreme intelligence, whoever, whatever that is, reflecting the beliefs, again, the diverse beliefs of the Brotherhood.
Freemasons come to their magnificent temples as worshippers of many gods. But inside these walls they commit themselves to a common constitution and make a solemn show of biblical stage plays and the passing on of secrets. Secrets that 14 American presidents and hundreds of senators, congressmen, and judges have sworn to protect. They may pledge allegiance to liberty and justice, but America's leaders have been deeply entwined with secret rituals and ancient kings. And it has been that way since the very beginning. It is December 1773. In a private room in a Boston tavern, a group of wealthy businessmen and powerful lawyers hold a secret meeting. Among them are Paul Revere and John Hancock. They are Freemasons. This inn is their Masonic lodge. But tonight's agenda is not ritual, but revolution. Tonight's entry in the journal reads, "Lodge adjourned on account of few brothers present. Consignees of tea took the brethren's time." For years, these upper-class colonists have been acting out Masonry's strange costume dramas, dressing up as King Solomon and the builders of ancient Jerusalem. Now, fed up with England's oppressive taxes, they've become patriots in pantomime. The men of the Green Dragon Tavern disguise themselves as Mohawks, sneak aboard a British merchant ship, and dump a cargo of tea into the harbor. This illegal act of sabotage becomes known as the Boston Tea Party, and the Masons who plan and perform it become the leaders of an increasingly violent rebellion.
The Boston Tea Party is one of the most famous Masonic events. There's just something romantic about it. Citizens are burned up about unfair taxes. What are they going to do about it? Well, they're going to take the tea and throw it in the harbor, and of course it's not the citizens, it's a wild tribe of Mohawks that happen to all be having dinner in the Green Dragon Tavern that came out and threw the tea overboard. Now, it's also widely held to be a Masonic event, and there's a tremendous amount of circumstantial evidence that points to that.
2.5 years later, John Hancock and his brother Masons formally declare America's separation from Great Britain. In Philadelphia on the 4th of July, 1776, at least 9 and perhaps as many as 50 Freemasons sign their names and stake their lives on the Declaration of Independence. Without the Masons, there might never have been an independent America.
Yeah, I think you could safely say that modern society would have been very different in its culture, in its aesthetics, in its outlook, if we hadn't have had Freemasonry developing in the way it did in the 18th century.
But with the Masons, the new nation's government is entrusted to, or seized by, members of this occult and exclusive order. In America, Masons grasp the reins of the new government and hold that power for the next 2 centuries, enfolding their nation and its capital in the secret geometry of the Masonic craft. Long before there were modern Freemasons acting out bizarre rituals in blindfolds and aprons and what appear to be Santa Claus suits, there were real Masons, the skilled stonecutters and architects who dreamed and designed the great pyramids of Egypt, the sacred temples of the Holy Land, the mystic Mayan complexes of the Americas, and the soaring cathedrals of medieval Europe. These were operative masons, the superstars of ancient construction sites, empowered with a knowledge of geometry and gravity that seemed to have been bestowed directly from God. In the 18th century, a revolution in science, technology, and free thought was underway. Known as the Enlightenment, this new movement saw operative masons as possessors of powerful ancient knowledge. Upper-class English and Scottish gentlemen styled themselves as speculative masons and set about rebuilding society, not with stone, but with radical ideas like the equality of all men. Nowhere is the legacy of 18th century Freemasonry more evident than in the grid and granite of Washington, D.C. The capital of the modern world's most powerful country hides many fascinating secrets. Secrets that ordinary Americans were never meant to understand.
They're, without doubt, the oldest and the largest fraternal organization in the United States and in Europe. You're taking disparate fragments and threads of evidence, and you're weaving this into a tapestry of a conspiracy.
Allegedly, a grid of streets just north of the White House traces out a pentagram, a symbol used in masonry and witchcraft. Not surprisingly, the Masons themselves deny this.
Now, there are many people that believe that there are secret signs and symbols laid out in the streets of Washington. I've looked at the maps and I don't see them. I can see an incompleted star. There are some conspiracists that believe that the Freemasons made some kind of satanic symbol just north of the White House with a pentagram. But the pentagram's not even complete. Rhode Island Avenue doesn't go all the way to Connecticut. If we're so darn powerful, how come we couldn't make a complete star?
Masonic symbolism is deeply etched into the bricks and marble of this alabaster city. The stonemason's compass and square, the letter G, which may stand for God, the great architect, even the very tradition of laying a ceremonial cornerstone. All of this can be linked back to George Washington's proud Masonic ties, and those of the men with whom he plotted, fought, and triumphed. Masonry is also symbolically omnipresent on the world's most powerful currency. In the 1770s, America's founding fathers appointed a committee to design an emblem for the infant nation. Benjamin Franklin, the only Freemason on the panel, suggested a pelican feeding her young. But the seabird idea was shot down. Franklin was outvoted in favor of an eagle with 13 arrows in his grasp, representing the 13 states. And even though the all-seeing eye and the pyramid were proposed by non-Masons, they are symbols used in Masonry, and the idea persists that the Great Seal of the United States is a cryptic token of Masonic power. In fact, the all-seeing eye and the great architect have been part of religious and secular imagery for centuries. Conspiracy lovers also assert that the Latin Novus Ordo Seclorum translates as a new world order, hinting at a Masonic cult of world domination, allegedly including everyone from both Presidents Bush to Lucifer himself. But there is no hard evidence to support this theory. The rather deflating truth is that the words were a later addition to the Great Seal, and they mean a new order of the ages, referring to the modern world's first democracy and the overthrow of kings. And then there's this little parlor trick. M-A-S-O-N. For those who see the sinister side, this is even more proof of ominous Masonic manipulation. But again, the truth is a little less sensational. In fact, it was a